Most business coaches are great at what they do, but their website simply doesn't show it, and that gap is costing you clients and sends them somewhere else. I'm Melvin, a strategic web designer with over a decade of experience building high converting sites. We're going to be covering those gaps and seeing how to fix them, and then by the end of this video, you can look at your site and see how you can fix yours too. Today, I'm going to be looking at an actual business coach's website and running through what is working and what's costing him in clients. All right, so we're going to be taking a look here at barrymoltz.com. And Barry Moltz is a business coach, and he definitely has a lot of credibility when I'm going through his site and doing a little bit of digging. He's been in the industry for at least 20 plus years, so he's definitely not new to this. He's written books and actually won awards on his books, which is very impressive. He also has a radio show called the Small Business Radio Show, which has been running for 15 plus years. So it's been a long time that he's been doing this, speaking to entrepreneurs and really getting to the nitty gritty of some of the issues and topics that business owners really care about, as well as some of the clients that he's worked with. He's worked with big businesses and small businesses, and some of the big ones are Dell, Sage, PayPal, Amazon, AT&T, Yahoo, and the list goes on. So he definitely has a lot of credibility, and he's been doing this for a long time. So I definitely think that, when it comes to credibility, it's all there. It's just a little bit hidden, and we can put it out in the forefront a little bit better on this homepage. So let's get right into it and start fixing it. All right, so let's get right into design and also talk about this navigation. So I think the navigation is a little bit clunky and unbalanced, which is the main issue I have with it. We have stuff going off here to the left. We have this that's centered, and this right here, the social icons off to the right. And I just think it seems a little bit unbalanced. What I would do is have this logo and this navigation on the same line instead of creating a stack of three here. I think another issue that we have here is that the bright orange doesn't have enough contrast with some of this content. Something really important is a phone number and his email, which is the main way people are going to reach out to him. And I think by having it on this bright orange is just bleeding too much, and it just makes the eye strain a little bit when it comes to something really important on how people are going to contact you. I think using this gray would be a better option. You can kind of see that with this logo here. You can read that really easy, regardless if it's like big or small or whatever it is, but it has enough contrast. And another thing too is I would change these labels out and I would just make them simpler. And what I suggest is just making them into home, about, services, books, resources, and contact. It's just typical is what we expect when we're looking at navigation items. Some of this just seems a little bit unconventional for me. So I would just change it to those and just condense things. So like speaking and consulting, those go under the umbrella of services. Barry's bio, just call it about. And then books, Barry's books, we could just call it shop books or buy books. And then blog, video, and radio, that could just be resources. And then instead of contact me, it just reads a little bit informal, and just change it to contact. And so that's what I would do up here. And then here in the hero section, one issue that I have is kind of minor, but it's something that I would fix anyways. It's just these white bars that are off here. And this is basically because the image is not set to go edge to edge. And so that's a quick, easy fix. And I think it just makes the site look a lot cleaner. And when you see stuff like this, it just makes it not look as clean. And it's just more of a technical thing. All right, so what's most important here is this hero section. And you have less than 5 seconds to convince somebody. And if you don't convince them in 5 seconds, they're going to leave and go to your competitors. And so having it blank like this is just kind of not acceptable, especially because Barry has so much credibility and what he does is really good and really important. And he really helps a lot of businesses. So we need to put that here in the hero section. And so what I would do is have 3 lines of text or 3 sections of text here. And the first section that I would have is for social credibility, so social proof. And what I would say is trusted by Amazon, Microsoft, GE, and small business owners nationwide. And so when people see that, they think credibility immediately. Without even scrolling anywhere on the website, it already talks about the type of clients and experience that he's worked with. The second thing that I would have here, and this would be like the bigger one, the main headline would be find what's actually holding your business back, right? So we're talking about what the outcome is. That's what he's going to do. That's what people expect. That's what he does. Find what's actually holding your business back. And the subheading would be describing that a little bit further. So I would say Barry works alongside you to dig into marketing, cash flow, leadership, and customer experience wherever the problem is and gets you unstuck. And so we're doing a couple of things here. We're literally stating what he digs into and what he helps you with. So again, it's just marketing, cash flow, leadership, and customer experience, which is what he uses to get businesses unstuck. And so he's known as the unstuck guy. This is his philosophy that he's came up with. That's what he's known for. And so we're introducing that all throughout this and building upon that, getting businesses unstuck. And that's how he does it. Those are the tools and the areas that he focuses on to get business unstuck. And so I think that those 3 lines would work a lot better than just having nothing, because having nothing, people don't know what you do. They're just going to leave. But if you have that, people see what you do. They quickly can say, okay, this is for me and why it's important and who's it for and why does it matter. and they could decide to leave the website if it's not for them or continue to scroll. And so if that's for them, they're going to continue scrolling. If nothing's there, they're just going to leave anyways. And so you want people to make sure that they arrive to the right place, and you do that in their hero section. And again, it's the most important place because you have less than 5 seconds to capture a person's attention. If not, they just leave. And so those are the things that I would fix in this section here when it comes to design. Okay, so another issue that I'm seeing here on this site is that there's no true call to action that's visible. And it isn't until we go to the consulting page that we see a really good call to action, which is a free 30-minute consultation. And so this is something that gives free value. Like, this is what somebody can get for free, right? They reach out to him and they get a free 30 minutes to talk to him in terms of a consultation. And so I would take this and create that CTA throughout the entire site. So every person that lands on the site is funneled through that CTA. And so the hero section text that we did earlier, I would have that as the main call to action here people are doing. So when they click that, they book a free 30-minute call with him. And I would have it throughout the same throughout the entire website, because right now it's a little bit mixed. It says here, want to work with Barry, there's no value add there. And so I would even add it here to the navigation as well, so no matter what page they go to, they can do that and take advantage of that offer. So instead of hiding it on a consultation page here, I would have it throughout the entire website, especially on the homepage and especially here on the hero section. All right, so the next fix that I would have is at the bottom here, he has the logos of the clients that he's worked with. Instead of having it at the bottom, I would definitely consider bringing this up here immediately after the hero section that we worked on, just because by this time, when you see the level of customers that he's worked with, he's definitely qualified, right? So you read this text and you see the logos of those companies, he's definitely going to be qualified. So no questions asked at that point. So I think that moving that up there would be a lot stronger than having it down there, because people might not be convinced yet, and they might not even bother scrolling to all this other stuff. But if that's at the top here, then people were like, okay, he's a big deal, he has a lot of credibility, I'm sold, now let's see a little bit more, and they'll keep on scrolling. Another thing too is that this text is not really scannable. It just seems like a big wall of text, and people are not there's no reason for them to stop and read it. And so what I would do is break it up a little bit. And I actually think that this first section here, this first paragraph, is the stronger one, because it starts talking about him and his background. And I think that's important. Once we build up the credibility, we start getting to know who he is, like who is the business coach himself and what's his background and what he's been through, and kind of talk about his story a little bit. This second paragraph, I was reading it and it just is a little bit scattered, some of the thoughts here. And what I would do is focus on his unstuck methodology that he does, and because that's specific to him and that's his specific positioning and what makes him different from other business coaches. And so I think really diving deep into that philosophy that he uses, the unstuck guy philosophy, I would do that here, because that's again going to position him as someone different, and it's going to make it seem that because right now when you read this, it just seems really vague and generic, kind of like something that any business coach would offer. But when we start tying in the unstuck guy philosophy, it makes it very specific to how he works and what's something that another business coach can't offer. It's specific just to him. So I think that positions him really well. And also what I would do is I would break up the service areas that he's an expert in. And so, for example, I would break it up into like icons, and those icons would be marketing, sales, leadership, cash flow, customer experience, and productivity. And so I would have icons there, and then when you click on the icon, they'll go to a specific page just for that, talking about that specific area and how he gets business owners unstuck. And so this is some of the stuff that I would do in terms of fixing this area here and making it perform a lot better and have it stop leaking customers. All right, so the next fix that I would suggest is this book section here. So this book is a book that he's won awards for, and right now we just see these repeated images of the cover, and we see the cover of the book here. I think it's a bit redundant, and the only way to find out more about this book, you can't click the actual book images. It doesn't take you anywhere, which I would make that definitely link out to where the book is. But for you to find out more about this book, you'd have to click literally this word right here that says the word here. Nothing else you can click, just this word here, and it takes you to where you can buy the book, and it gives you more information on the book. I think that's a little bit of a friction point, and what I would do is remove these images here that are redundant of the cover, that it's repeated 4 times, and what I would do is take these badges that he's won awards and lay them out cleanly under the book. Right, so the awards that he's been nominated for, the awards that he's won, whatever it is, I would put it here, the badges for the actual book awards, and then have the book here as it is, and have text here that is really, again, scannable, really quick to read, that says, what the book is, what it's about, and also what do people get after reading the book. Like, what could they expect? What knowledge can they gain from reading this book? And then a button that is clearly a button that people can see. That's a button that once they click, it goes to where they can buy the book. So right now, this is just not doing that. And it's also, I think, losing sales because of the way it's laid out, because it's really hard to figure out, like, where do I go to find this book? And also, even the awards, you're not able to really see them because they're kind of small. So I would definitely fix this area here and just build a little bit more context around the book. Another thing too is that when you scroll under here, there's almost like this little section here. It seems like resources to me. And one of them is the top 10 questions small business owners ask. We have a link to the radio show that he runs. He's been doing it for 15 plus years. And then we have a reel here, like a video reel of him and his speaking engagements so that he can get hired for speaking engagements. And I just think this is right here a little bit scattered and doesn't really have a lot of context. And what I would do is put the top 10 questions and this reel into a resources page, because this is more of a press thing, like a press release sort of thing. And this right here is more like a blog, kind of like a resource sort of stuff that you would see. So I would put both of these in resources, or like under one umbrella, or put this under press and put this one under resources. And I would keep the small business radio show here because it does two things. One, it gives value to the person that's on the website scrolling, so they can listen to a few episodes, gain some knowledge, and it's free value. Also, it positions him as an expert even more because they're seeing how he talks, they're seeing, the advice that he gives to these businesses. And so it gives value and it makes him look like an expert, and again, builds more credibility. So I would definitely keep this here and lose these two and just put them on another page and let this be on the spotlight when it comes to giving free value. And those are definitely some things that I would fix in this area. All right. And we talked about this a little bit, but I'll say it again here. And this is like the next fix that I would have, where right now at the bottom, there's these buttons here. And right now there's a button that says want to work with Barry. And I think that this area should end with that CTA that we talked about earlier, which is the free 30-minute call. And also it should have a form that people can fill out, because some people, they may not want to book a call. They might want to fill out a form, and it might be also easier as an intake form for Barry himself, because he can be able to ask specific questions and get that information ahead of time. So it might work a little bit easier. And some people are more apt to, fill out a form rather than, booking a call. So you want to give different forms of people reaching out to you. And so a form is really easy because it's not something that's like on the spot where your phone ringing, and it kind of gives time for you to like respond and kind of curate what your response would be. And then you have the call to action, which is just giving out value, which is the 30-minute free call, which I think that's something that works really in the favor of Barry, because he's giving value to people and also booking clients with that, and it doesn't cost him anything. And so that's what I would fix here at the bottom of the site, and I would end it on that note. All right, guys, that's a wrap for Barry's website, and I hope you found this video helpful. And also look at your own website and see if you can make some of these fixes to your site. You can also book a free strategy call with me where we go over your site one-on-one and see if there's some areas that we can fix on your site. And you can find that link down below in the description box and also the first pinned comment, and you can go ahead and book that call with me. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, peace.